Hi everyone. So first things first, I need to apologize for the mess in my room. I've just moved in, unpacked everything. Also, yes, that is a cardboard box that I've used as a set of blinds because I currently do not have any. Anyways, I'm here to tell you all about what studying in London is like as a student from Malaysia. My name is Vishal and I'm currently in my second year of performance and recording in music here at UWL. So for those of you who don't know, Malaysia is a tropical country, which means that it's hot, it's sunny all year round, and we're usually dealing with an average temperature of about 25 degrees Celsius, and it can get hotter. It's never really cold. Sure, it might rain, but we do have indoor air conditioning, which is very nice. So as a Malaysian student, moving from a tropical weather climate to the climate of the UK, which consists of rain, even more rain while it's somehow still hot, cold, very cold, cold and raining, cold and windy and raining, and sometimes the weather's pretty decent. I gotta admit, personally, I kind of like the weather here more than I do in Malaysia, only because it's kind of the perfect weather to walk in sometimes. I know I just made a bunch of jokes about it, but generally it's pretty nice, it's pretty sunny, but at the same time, you're not ever really gonna sweat as much as you would back home. Adjusting to the temperature, however, that's a completely different thing. You probably can't hear it through my voice, but having a little bit of a sore throat, a little bit of a bad cough at the moment, just because I've spent the last 3 months back home in Malaysia, and adjusting to the dry, cold weather of the UK has taken a little bit of a toll on me. Give it a few weeks, you tend to get used to it. Alright, now let's talk transport. So back home in Malaysia, you do have public transport, depending on which area of Malaysia you're in. I'm from Penang, which is a really small tropical island, which means the only public transport we really have are buses, and everyone mostly relies on Grab, which is our equivalent of Uber. One thing you're going to find out over here in the UK, however, is that Ubers can be very, very expensive. Sure, you have multiple other options with apps you can go for, like Ola or Free Now as well, that you could use, but they tend to sort of be the same price point, so you might just be better off just getting on the bus, using the trains in London. I mean, they're great. Obviously, this depends on which part of the UK you're in, but if you're in London, the public transport's great. It does take a while to get used to, however, so I would highly recommend that you download an app called City Mapper. While not always 100% accurate, it does give you a very good idea on what trains you're supposed to be on or what buses that you're meant to be on. Also, if it is, if you're talking about a place that's like 20 minutes away, that's still a pretty walkable distance. So, like I mentioned, the weather is perfect here for you to walk, so try walking. Alright, now let's talk about something that's a little bit more complicated. Money and just currency in general. So the current exchange rate right now is £1 is probably equivalent to about 5 or 6 Malaysian ringgits, which is, yeah, the best advice I can give a Malaysian student here in the UK is to just don't do the conversions in your head. You're not gonna have a good time. If you look at everything and you're constantly converting, because this is what I was doing for the first few months. Every time I just, I scanned across a price tag, I would just immediately convert it in my head to ringgits and think whether it was worth it to buy or not. Don't do that. There's not a lot that you will end up being able to buy. Also, it does usually depend on which shops you go to. The cheapest that I've personally found tends to be places like Aldi or Lidl if you're looking for groceries and things like that. Iceland maybe. Sainsbury's, pretty okay. Morrison's, pretty okay. Tesco's good. Get a club card. Get a Tesco club card. They're really good. Waitrose, no. Plus another thing that just is a bit of a shock for Malaysians, food here is pricey. One meal on average in London, obviously it depends where you go. If you're going to a nice sit-down restaurant, you're looking at between £7 to, I've seen places go up to 20. That's how much we're thinking of. Whereas in Malaysia, an average meal would probably only be about £3 to £4. So coming here and justifying £3 for a cup of coffee does take a bit of time, but you're learning to get used to it. Okay, you know what? Since I've already sort of mentioned it a little bit, let's talk about food. Food can be pretty, if you're used to spices, if you're used to having really spicy food, really flavorful food, on average, have I been satisfied at the restaurants or places I've eaten? Sure. Is it the same as Malaysian food? No. I forgot what I was eating. I was eating or drinking something. But I remember thinking, wow, do I have COVID? Because I can't taste anything. And no, it was just bland. Cook at home. I mean, it's a much healthier option. It's a more cost-effective option. Cooking's a great skill as a uni student for you to learn. Alright everyone, so I hope to have given a little bit of insight on what life is like here as a Malaysian student. If you are a Malaysian student watching this, hopefully hopefully this is some good advice, and hopefully you'll learn to relate to it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.